Hello friends, this is Rwandan team. We welcome you to Wellspring Gala. We work with thousands of students and thousands of teachers and thousands of parents. And we do all this for quality education. So thank you for your support. We can't do this work without you. And we thank you and we love you so much.
Welcome back to the final day of our Stay Home Gala. We hope you enjoyed engaging with us yesterday with our new films, our interviews, and our speakers. And I hope that you also had the opportunity to hear Mike Jansen last night. That was so fantastic. Thank you so much, Mike, for that performance and for your support of our work. Just so great. I really enjoyed it. Just a reminder that in the next couple of hours, you'll have your final opportunity to bid in the silent auction. And we'll have that update a little bit later. But be sure to get your bids in before 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern, as the silent auction will be closing. Have a few ways that you could be praying for our Wellspring team today. I did mention yesterday there have been some significant heavy rains in the past week in Rwanda. So that would be great. You could pray for strength and good concentration for our drivers who are working long hours as part of a national COVID-19 response. There's also families in Rubavu that are affected by loss of income and the inability to feed their families well. And also, lastly, of course, there's multiple ways you could be praying for us, but lastly, wisdom for our Wellspring leadership team at this point in time. Our morning moment here in BC, we are going to be speaking with our comms team. So you may be wondering, well, how the heck is anything going on if all the comms team are going to be on screen? And normally the three of us are behind the scenes. So as we launch into today's program, it's my pleasure to start our time with my colleagues, Emily from Ontario and Sarah from here in BC. I'm going to pull them up on screen now. So there is, that's actually Emily up on screen with Sarah's title underneath, but there we go. There's Emily, and I'm going to add Sarah as well to the screen. Both of you guys are up on screen now. Emily thought she was on right away and sort of, hello, and I'm like, no, please,
I'm sorry
I'm on
that I
right now.
jumped the gun with my hellos.
That's okay. It's so great to have you guys here. Now, if you guys have been watching along with the live stream, not Sarah and Emily, but any of the viewers, these guys, and you guys have been tracking with social media, these guys have done just an amazing job of splitting up the content, sharing it out across all those social channels. That's Emily and Sarah. And yeah, you guys have just done an amazing job. Most of us are behind the scenes people, right? And now we're in front of the camera, which is great. So if you guys have seen anything from Wellspring over the last little while across social media, on our website, if you've seen any print materials, like it's usually us three that are doing that. And we get a lot of help from Louise Riley as well with proofreading of things and stuff like that. But so interesting. So we have comments coming in. I have no idea who's monitoring the feeds now because we're all here. So anyways, I'll turn it over to you guys.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Good morning again. I jumped the gun. I'm just so excited to be here and live with you all at our last day of the Wellspring Gala. I can't believe that we're already at our last day, Sarah.
I know, isn't it crazy? It's just, yeah, it's been such an amazing week and so fun to see everybody on screen and to be able to hear from our Rwandan colleagues.
Oh my gosh, seriously, I know. I can't believe, yeah, it's Saturday. We have such an exciting day lined up. And it's been such an awesome week.
What's your favorite bit so far, Em?
Oh my gosh, there have been so many awesome moments. I think one of them, I think I have two. One yesterday, the chat with sweet Linda and our sweet Sharon. Oh my gosh, it was such a beautiful moment of just them sharing the way Wellspring has just stamped on their hearts. It was such an honor to hear them just so openly and emotionally. I think we were all crying along with them as they were sharing.
I definitely needed my Kleenex. Oh, for sure.
Oh my gosh, there's been many times this week that it's just like, oh, there's a little tear. It's been such a special week. That and watching Beatrice's feature film earlier this week. It was such an honor to be there when we were there in February and see that happen live. That interview was so powerful. She is such a champion and such a celebrator of those young girls' lives. It is so cool to just watch her continue to dedicate her career to ensuring that these women and young girls are empowered through education. It's so cool. And even sharing all these films, I can't believe that we actually get to watch them on YouTube and release them to the world now, because we were there behind the scenes. Oh my gosh.
So neat, hey? And yeah, I think that's been one of my favorite moments too, finally being able to share the films. It was just been so neat to be part of that whole process and to be able to work with Jeff Heath on those, because he is such a visionary and just such a blast to work with. And it's fun to finally be able to share them and not have to keep them secret anymore. We still have one more to share later today, and I think that one's probably my favorite. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because you definitely don't want to miss it. Other than that, I mean, there's been so many great moments, but I really actually enjoyed Andy's talk last night. It's always just so great to hear his passion for the power of education and the potential of every child. I really appreciated one of the things he said, and he talks about this a lot, but I think it's so important at the moment, this idea that there is no other, there is just us.
Wow.
I think that is so good, right? I think that's so important right now as we all navigate this kind of new normal, as we figure out how to be together without physically being together. Speaking of being stuck indoors, that was not the case for you and I 2 months ago. Emily and I actually managed to sneak in a trip to Rwanda about 2 months ago before travel bans and social distancing and all that. And that was your first time to Rwanda, Em. How was that? Tell us a bit about it.
Oh my gosh. How do I encapsulate my first time in Rwanda? Oh my gosh. It was such a humbling experience and such a rich time. Oh my word. So yeah, I had been working with Wellspring, I guess, for 6 months by the time our trip came around. And I felt like I was getting the hang of it, running social media. I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting my stride. I think I understand the program. I feel like I could start talking confidently about it. But as much as I thought I understood the depth and the excellence of the programs, there's absolutely nothing that can compare to seeing it firsthand. And so when we stepped onto that first school ground, G.S. Baringo, it was just the most surreal experience. And what I think of to explain it is, you think you know the taste of a really good chocolate chip cookie. So like you can think about it and your mouth starts drooling and it's awesome. And then you eat that cookie and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot how gooey it is and how crunchy it is and how soft it is. It's just like you don't fully understand how much you don't really grasp, or like the nitty gritties of the program and the people that are there. So
just making me want cookies now.
No, I'm hungry too. But it was just so incredible to get a fuller picture of the work and even watch it unfold in front of me. Like, we see their children are accessing a life-giving and a life-changing education. These school leaders are so eager to support their teachers and their staff, and they want to equip them as best as they can. And teachers are confident and effective leaders of their classrooms. And parents are excited and engaged in their kids' education. And students are filled with such a zeal for learning. Just even being on the school grounds, all the kids were so excited to run to their classes and be with their teachers. It was so, so special to see. And another highlight, I think, would be meeting our staff. Oh my gosh, they are such legends that I only had little tales about in my ear until going to meet them. But I have such respect for this team that we work with in Rwanda, and we are so blessed to work with some of the most passionate and enthusiastic staff members there. And one of them is Gilbert, the district program manager of Rubavu. And we have a clip to show you of him from this past visit that Louise Loughton had this past year. She was able to chat with Gilbert about Wellspring's work in Rubavu and was able to film a short little clip. So here it is, Jason, you can roll it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Louise. I'm Bisengo Gilbert. I'm the program manager of our program here in Rubavu.
And so, Gilbert, when the district education officer of this region invited Wellspring to come and work here, what were they asking for?
Yeah, Louise, what they were requesting us, especially they needed our support in mainly in 4 areas. So the district was facing a high rate of school dropouts. That was a big challenges, and even the president had come to Rubavu and asked the mayor that you need to reduce this dropout in district because it was too high. So the district requested us to support them to fight school dropout. That was one. Two, it was to support leaders to be effective school leaders and managers. Second, to support again parents to get involved in schools activities in education of their children. And the third one, they have ECE schools, which have recently started in all schools, and these ECEs are really are not developed. They don't have skilled teachers, so it was mainly in those 4 areas that they requested us that we should support them.
Right. So in order to reduce dropout and improve education, you had committed to 4 things: working with school leaders first and getting them on board.
Yes.
And involving the parents more
Yes.
fully in the
Yes.
education of their
Yes.
children.
Yes.
Providing
Yes.
training for
Yes.
teachers so they improve
Yes.
their teaching practice.
Yeah, sure.
And developing some kind of early childhood education
Yes.
supports.
Yes. Yes.
And so, if you were to say some brief evaluation
yes.
of those areas, what would you say? How's it going?
Yeah, sure. What I would say, for a couple of almost 2 years, our more effort was we concentrated on supporting school leaders. We have already supported school leaders. We delivered all the modules that we intended to provide for school leaders, and all the support. We have been visiting school leaders, supporting them. So I would also say that on the side of parent, I may say that we have worked around 20% because we have already started working with the communities, engaging them. We have trained parent committees, which is great for us, and we are still in the process. And regarding for teachers, supporting teachers to deliver quality lessons, now we have already started working with the teachers. We have trained them in our first modules, and the progress, I would say that the progress is good. And but we are having a challenge of supporting ECE basing on our resources, and either financial resources and human capacity or human resources. So that's a commitment that we made, and it's a priority for the district that we support ECEs. But we as Wellspring, for now, currently, we are unable to do that, and it's a challenge because we have already committed to do that. But again, yeah, to me, I would say that it's a big challenge on our sides. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We know that early education helps to develop literacy and good habits and relationships and routines, so that the research shows that the earlier kids can start in school, the longer they will stay in school.
Yeah,
so
sure.
we know it's an important area of our investment. And so you would say, in order to develop this side, you need more people.
Yeah, sure. We need more people on this side. Like the capacity we have, we do not have personnel to work with ECE. And we do believe that really if we can educate those young boys and girls at early age, that will develop their capacity. We believe in that. I mean the capacity of learning. But we as a Wellspring, we are not unable to do that right now. We need more resources.
And keeping girls in school is also part of that strategy with ECE, isn't it? If the kids are in school, then their older sisters can also be in school, can't they?
You are right.
Yeah, so it's a very holistic approach.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I've seen the team at work. Gilbert and his team are out in the field every day, all day, meeting with teachers, training leaders, and as you heard him say, they are working flat out as hard as they can. And
Sure.
in order to do this next piece, some more resources are needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Gilbert.
Thank you, Louise.
Yeah, thanks.
God
for your
bless
time.
you. Thank you.
What an awesome update from Gilbert. It's so cool to hear a little bit about what Wellspring is committed to in education in the Rubavu district. And Sarah, I feel like maybe you lived in Rwanda during the rollout of that. Is that true?
That is true. Yeah, I lived in Rwanda for a year between 2016 and 2017. And it was just as Wellspring was wrapping up the pilot project in Rubavu and figuring out if we were going to be able to dive deeper into that district. And I have so many great memories of being in cars with Gilbert and Rochelle and going out into the country and driving down these roads that weren't even roads at the time, and heading out to these really rural schools to meet with people. And that team is just so incredible. I'm so blessed to be able to work with them. I have this memory of going to this one specific school, Kirarima Primary, and just seeing the stark difference between the school that we had only just started working in the pilot program versus the schools that we've been working with for years in Gasabo. And even though the school was just a few classrooms, and there were holes in the ceiling and holes in the floor, and in P1 there were so many kids in the classroom crammed around these overcrowded tiny desks, and you would walk down the classroom block and you get to P6 and there were barely enough kids to fill a row. And despite that, I remember talking to the teachers, and they were just so passionate and so full of hope for these kids. And I just remember them asking, please come and go deeper in Rubavu so that we can learn how to serve these kids, and so that the community can learn how to be involved to see the future of their kids grow. And Kirarima is actually my school partner school. So I'm a Wellspring staff member, but I'm actually a monthly donor as well. And it's just been so amazing to walk alongside that school for the past few years. And actually, on our trip there just a few months ago, we were driving down a road, and Emily, I don't know if you remember this, but Andy and I practically leapt out of our seats, which was interesting because Andy was driving at the time, because we drove past Kirarima, and just the difference, even just visibly, was so remarkable. You might have seen on our website and social media that sometimes we share these images. They're really great photos taken by Jeff Heath of kids sitting on a rocky hill doing schoolwork. Those photos were actually taken at Kirarima Primary because there wasn't enough light in the classrooms for the kids to do their work in the classroom. So the teacher let them go all run outside and sit outside to do their schoolwork. And it was while we were there, and we took some photos. So when we drove past, that area was actually gone now. And it was gone because parents and community members had banded together and built an amazing new set of classroom blocks right there. And it was just, it just made my heart so happy to see that transformation that is taking place because of Wellspring's training. And that's because of people like Gilbert and Rochelle and Anselm and all of the other amazing Rwandan team who are out there every day addressing the issues that Gilbert put forth in that film.
Oh my gosh, I remember that so vividly on our trip there. Oh my gosh, when we turned that corner, we were driving down this road, you and Andy both said, "Oh my gosh, that's our school." I think that was the first school that I may have even seen, passed by on our travels. We were just so far off the beaten path, it felt. I had no idea where we were in Rwanda, but it was amazing. And you just shared, that school used to be nothing. It just used to be so barren, and the classrooms are amazing now. Oh my gosh, what a special memory. Oh, but yeah, you did mention that Gilbert did bring up about 5 things that Wellspring has committed to in that Rubavu district. So let's go over them. There was helping to reduce the rate of dropout. There was supporting school leaders to help them become effective leaders and managers. There's empowering parents to get involved in the education of their children, providing teachers training so that they can improve their teaching practice, and develop early child education support. So quite a few things.
Those are all such key points. So why don't we break them down a little bit? So let's start with the first one, dropout, which is such a critical issue in Rwanda. And any of you who have ever been to Rwanda on a vision trip or some other travels know what it's like to see these crowds of kids waving at you on the side of the road when you drive by. And it's such a sweet sight when you first see it. You know, it always brings a smile to my face, and I'm waving back because I'm sure that you guys all have too. But as you think on that a little more and you think a little deeper, you kind of have to ask yourself, why are those kids on the side of the road? Why are they waving at me in the middle of the day when they should be in school? Because, yeah, they really should be in school. And they're not, because of all sorts of factors that we talked about a little bit over the past few days. Maybe it's parents who weren't educated themselves and just don't understand the value of education, but maybe see value instead in alleviating issues in the now, like, you know, getting the kids to look after their younger siblings because that is an issue right now instead of an issue in the future. Or maybe it's because when that kid goes to class and he answers a question wrong, the teacher brings out a stick and beats them. Those are all things that can lead to a kid dropping out, and that can lead to them being on the side of the road waving at you. And that's why we do what we do, right? Because every one of those kids deserves the same education that kids in Vancouver or Toronto or London or California or wherever you are gets. Just because they're in Rwanda doesn't mean they don't deserve that. And I don't know, I have this dream that maybe one day we'll get to go to Rwanda and our team in Rwanda will get to drive down the road and not have a single kid wave at them, because that means they'll all be in school. Wouldn't that be a pretty sweet future?
Oh my gosh, come on. Yeah, and something we so take for granted here too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Gilbert also talked about the importance of supporting leaders, which is something that our team learned through our experience in Gasabo. If you want to transform a school, you really have to start with the leader, which is exactly what our team did when we started working in Rubavu. So I want to tell you the story of a specific head teacher, Felicienne, who was the head teacher at Kanyundo Primary, which was one of the schools that we worked with in the pilot project in Rubavu. So I met Felicienne, it was actually during our 2017 film trip, and we filmed some of that film at that school. It's called A Future of Hope, which is on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. And Felicienne she took to Wellspring's training immediately. She adopted this position of servant leadership that just echoed throughout her school. The classrooms were immaculate. The grounds were well kept. Really, when we pulled up to the school, we kind of were like, hang on, are we back in Gasabo? Like, this just looks like a school that we have been working with for years. And when we were visiting, the kids actually put on a skit for us that showed how the teachers had changed since Wellspring had started working in the school. And at that point, I don't even think we were really working with the teachers yet. We were working with the leaders. And they showed how their teacher used to beat them before and how they didn't even want to go to class because it was just this place of fear, versus what it was like now where their teacher cared for them and they were excited to go to school and they were excited to learn. And even if they got a question wrong, their teacher would care for them and would play games with them, and just this value of love and dignity that was instilled into everything. There was actually also a school club there called A Response to a Child that focused specifically on reaching out into the community, finding kids who dropped out and bringing them back to school. All of those things stemmed from Felicienne because she was leading from a place of humility and servitude and love and values. And I have this quote that I want to read to you that she said, and I apologize if I'm looking at my screen. It's just I want to make sure I get the words right. So she said to us, "My dream is to see a 100% transition rate at our school for students moving from primary to secondary. But as a foundation, I want to ensure that we are a school based on values. This school is going to be a place where community members can come to learn values from us. When they visit, they will notice a difference. They will know that Wellspring has come to this school." Ugh. Isn't that amazing? Like, And that's the power of leaders.
Yeah.
That's why it's so crucial to invest in them early on, because they're the stem of transformation. It all flows out of them. And since then, actually, Felicienne has been moved to a different school so that transformation can be spread. And that was such a lovely surprise, because we ran into her at a parent training at a different school when we were on our last trip there, didn't we, Em?
That was so serendipitous. I remember you sharing me a little bit of that story as we met her. I don't think any of us were expecting to see her. And you said, Felicienne's amazing. And oh my gosh, I had never heard that story in full. And she truly is. But being in that school just leads right into that other point that Gilbert mentions about empowering parents and how important and valuable they are in their child's education. And so, yeah, at that school that we visited that afternoon, we were able to pop in on a community involvement training. And it was such a wonderful afternoon. I don't think I was expecting any of that. I was just following along with the crowd, but it was so amazing hearing from the trainers themselves what they were teaching. And they shared with us that they were teaching a lesson to 100 plus parents using an empty water bottle. And we were all like, okay, what does this mean? And it's such a simple message, but they were using it to share the point that nobody in their community is an empty water bottle, because everyone has something that they can pour into their community. And what a simple but powerful analogy. It just shows that these parents have skills and talents and resources and connections and assets and just abilities that they uniquely possess. And that is something that they are able to pour back into their wider community. Mm-hmm. And wow, what a beautiful sentiment that just shares that every community needs what each person uniquely has to offer. Like, Sarah, you offer something that I don't offer, and I offer something that Jason doesn't offer, right? And it's just so special when you kind of see all those pieces mesh together and all these individuals say, hey, I have something to contribute to this.
And that's why we're such a strong team, because we all have those strengths and weaknesses. And when you see that spread out into a community and everyone realizes that, just the power is amazing.
Incredible. And we were even able to see the power of that community involvement training in action when we visited GS Kabuye. And we saw a dining hall in the works that parents of that school community had been building from the ground up. And so the parents there had realized, hey, wait, our kids don't have a place to eat. Maybe they can sit on the school ground, but how special would it be if they had a specific dining hall that they could come together around a table and share their feeding school lunch together and share a laugh together and just get excited for the afternoon to come and all the lessons that they will have. And that is so powerful of, just what community looks like, what Turakumwe is all about. It says we are together. We want to stand hand in hand, and we want to come together with a common goal. And it was so powerful to see in action there. And also at that school, I totally forgot, we met a wonderful gentleman. His name was Joseph, and he was the deputy head teacher. Do you remember meeting with him?
Joseph was so great. Yeah.
He was awesome, and he was so eager to share with us. Like, he was just so ready to sit us down and share his heart about Wellspring and his heart about teaching. And he said one of the most incredible things, and I'm going to read a quote now too. He said to us, "We know that a good teacher also needs to be a good learner. As much as students are learning from us teachers, we are just as much learning from our students. I always want to improve. I always want to get better. If I'm comfortable, I'm not learning or improving." And I think that is so amazing. Like, he is so committed to his students both, and that he wants to build trust and he wants to build mutual learning and relationships with the students, but he never wants to settle. Like, he just says, hey, there's more and more that I could be doing as a teacher, and more I can be learning, and more I can be implementing. And that is exactly what he learned through our teacher training. Oh, it's so cool. Just sharing about these experiences that we had. It's just bringing back so many memories and so many just emotions of excitement and just a tangible reminder of the amazing impact that these things and our staff are having in Rwanda. But these things were in Gasabo.
Yeah, so that example you shared of Joseph was in Gasabo, but that's happening in Rubavu too. And actually, when I was out there in April 2018, I had the privilege of being part, or not being part of, observing, let's say, because I had nothing to do with it, with all our amazing team, of observing one of the first trainings for teacher multipliers in Rubavu. And that training was about worldview and how the values of a teacher, or their roots, flow out in the way they teach and shape their students, which become their fruits. So it's roots and fruits.
Yeah.
That training is so incredible. And our wonderful member of our Rwandan leadership team, Rochelle, was leading it. And I remember that she stopped in the middle at one point and she said to all the teachers, "Do you know how you're here? You're here because of the generosity of people around the world. They don't know you and they don't know our children, but they care about you and they care about the future of our children and they want to see you succeed. And that's why you're here today, because of their generosity." And I so wish that I could transport you all back into that moment and just see the outpouring of love that those teachers laid out for you, because it was for you. That training was only possible because of you. So thank you so much for allowing our staff to be able to do that, for caring for those teachers, parents, and leaders, and for the kids. This is all only possible because of you. Gilbert also mentioned something at the end of that clip about early childhood education. And he said that we've been facing challenges in that area, but we actually have a really exciting update about that coming up in our later segment with Andy. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. Yeah, I've been so blessed to have met most, if not all, of our staff members during our February trip. And I have such a special memory to share. On the last day, we were just getting ready to leave. We're all in the office saying goodbye to the staff based out in Kigali. And as we're saying goodbye, a few of the sweet, sweet women, they pulled me aside. They said, "Emily, you always have a place in my home. If ever you come visit, you're welcome here." And I had only known them for a week. It is such a community.
We're family.
It is the most beautiful thing. And it's so special to have, so many gracious partners who want to be involved in that. We are so lucky. But Jason, I know I am only in my first year, and I really have only met these people just this year, this incredible team. But I know you've been here a little bit longer than I have. I think more than 6 months.
Yeah.
So tell us how special it is to be working with them for 11 years. Is that right? On being on staff with Wellspring.
Yeah, it's just February. It's just over 11 years. Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah, I seeing Gilbert obviously being our program manager in Rubavu, Teo overseeing what's happening really in Gasabo, Beatrice on the screen there, Mary Jean we saw in the film, Ernest I shared about, my first memory, one of my first memories of Ernest was the container arrived and he was just cheering that first trip that I was there, arms up in the air. Mary was around, David was around, Sylvain was around, but what's really interesting, I one of my first memories on my first trip was I was in the back of the Land Cruiser, running around in the jump seats, and I think it was Gilbert and Tail with me. And at that point, I had 2 children. I was married for a few years, I think 6 years maybe at that time. But these guys were they were bachelors, right? They wor totally bacheloring out, and so there was this hope of finding a wife. And now these guys are married and they have kids, right? Sylvain as well also wasn't married at that time, and just to see how they've grown. And the roles that they've stepped into. And it's almost like they've grown with the organization, right? As Wellspring's gone to 2.0, we've all gone to that next stage and that next stage. And, you talk about that idea of being family, right? One of the first questions you ask each other is, how is your family? How are you doing? It's not about work. We're going to hear from Stephen Bennett a little bit later on, a board member who's been around since the very beginning. Barb has been around since the very beginning. Shauna's been on staff for 7 years. Louise, Kelly about 6, Sarah I think is 4. Sarah, I don't know if it's
4,
around,
yeah.
It's around 4, right? Louise Lowton the other day talked about this idea of investing in human capital, and Mike Jansen referenced it last night as well. And I was going through When Helping Hurts study with my daughter the other day, and Brian Fickert's talking about walking across time with people and it all being about relationship, right? And I just so see that with Wellspring, I think we really kind of embody that, and that's that idea of that family. So, in the next session here, Andy's going to take us through where we're going in Vision 2024, and that's so key. And really, we are in good hands. People who know our organization, who have walked with us and have been transformed and grown with the organization as the organization has pivoted and done the different things that we've done. So, I could ramble on. I won't steal any of Andy's thunder there, but he's going to share a bunch more in the next segment as we get into Vision 2024, as we look ahead to the future. And Emily, you're in your first year, but who knows how long is that going to work out for you? Sarah, I don't think you imagine, Sarah, and I'll bring you up on the screen so we have all three comms people up on the screen at the same time. I'm in the middle of you two lovely ladies, but I don't think, Sarah, you imagined that an internship would essentially kind of turn into where this is a bit your career, right? At this point? Yeah.
Yeah. When I started at Wellspring, it was my first job out of university. It was like I graduated and got on a plane. And I got on a plane and I lived in Rwanda for a year, and that was what it was meant to be. It was an internship on the ground in Rwanda, and I'm so blessed that it's transitioned into an incredible role with incredible people here as well.
Yeah, so I just want to thank you both. Like, I don't know how we did things before, and I know there's a lot more going on, but really, to have you guys as part of the comms team, running campaigns as well, you guys are a humongous asset that have freed me up to do other things. You guys do such great work. And I've enjoyed listening to you guys share about your experiences in Rwanda firsthand. So yeah, it's just, there's so much behind the scenes that you guys are doing that people have seen that I just so appreciate. And I know the rest of our team does too. This production, this Stay Home Gala has been a humongous team effort. Everybody's involved in different ways. So people get to see what you guys are putting out because of the stuff going across our social channels and all of that. But yeah, you guys are doing a great job. I am so proud of you and just thankful to work with you guys. So thank you for joining me this morning. I'm going to let you go, and we are just going to head into a quick break. We're going to take about a 10-minute break, grab a coffee, and in this next segment, actually, before I jump into that, I got one more partner moment. A fellow named Jeff, who we are going to hear from. He was on a trip to Rwanda very recently as well. And so then we're just going to hear from Jeff, and then we're going to take about a 10-minute break, and we'll be back to hear from Andy and what's happening with Vision 2024. Thank you. And here's Jeff.
So for a number of years now, our church has had the privilege of partnering with Wellspring to sponsor a school in the area of Gikomero. And it was in 2019 that I had the privilege of going with 19 others to go to Rwanda to see not only the work that Wellspring is doing in Gikomero, but also to be able to see what Wellspring is doing in the country of Rwanda. I can honestly tell you that it was a trip that I will never forget. One of the highlights for me was, for sure, visiting the school that we had only seen pictures of and videos of from home in Canada, but being able to go there and walk the grounds, to meet literally the hundreds and hundreds of students who were there and see the joy and the hope, the fact that they would become friends just by seeing you and being able to show off their school as well. There was so much involved in the day-to-day operations there, and what it was impressed upon me was the incredible amount of hope and joy that those students had. It was unbelievable. Well, there's a lot of things that I learned on the trip and I was impressed about, but one of the things that I wanted to share with you is the passion and the humility of the Wellspring workers. Wellspring is very single-focused. They're very laser-focused on what they do. They know that they can't change the entire nation, but that's not what they're there for. They want to change the education system and help come alongside and make it better and improve not only the quality of education, but how many students go and get an education as well. And you can tell it's working. The workers that are working there aren't just punching a clock. They're not just working 9 to 5 and getting a paycheck and going home. These workers are very skilled. They're godly people, and they are investing right now the best years of their life into a system that is helping kids understand the need for education and how it'll take them in life. And it's amazing what they're doing. Right now, as the work is starting in Rubavu in the northwest area of Rwanda, we're able to see some of the work that is going on there and hear some of the stories. We met some of the educators and the equippers who travel literally, I think 50 kilometers one way just to be able to go and help equip the teachers to be better teachers into a system that needs an influx of help. You don't just do that by getting a paycheck and going home. You do that because there's something instilled in you that you want to see change, and to give your life to something that is greater than yourself. And so we saw that very, very much. One other thing that I wanted to say was I love the fact that Wellspring has come alongside its own people to share in the re-envisioning and the movement of Rwanda's story. We learned about the tragedy of the past of Rwanda and some of the atrocities that have taken place. And Rwandans, especially, I think those at Wellspring, no one shies away from anything that has gone on, but they do say that we are looking forward, not behind us. And Wellspring knows that, and they know that education is a huge part of that as well. And so I love the fact that Wellspring wants to be part of looking ahead, and I'm excited that our church and myself can continue to partner with Wellspring in the years ahead.
Wow, thank you so much, Jeff. As Jeff mentioned, he's the pastor of our local church in Langley, BC, and their congregation has been supporting our work in Gasabo and Gikomero for the last 5 years. And as he touched on, he went to Rwanda for the first time to see the work firsthand. And I know that North Langley Community Church is actually partnered now also with Rusameza in Rubavu too. So we're so thankful for them and their partnership in helping us walk with those schools. I had the opportunity to be in Rwanda last October when all of our leadership met together to map out the way forward for our next vision document, the Vision 2024 document. And I can tell you that there are some great things planned for the next few years here. So we're going to take a short 10-minute break. We'll be returning at roughly 5 to 11 for an exciting segment about our vision for the next 4 years. So we hope you will stick around and be back with us in the next 10 minutes. And while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, or make yourself a cup of coffee or whatever, grabbing a snack, don't forget to check out the silent auction as well. So we'll see you in 10 minutes. Welcome back. I am here now with our CEO, Andy Harrington. Welcome, Andy. It's good to see you.
It's good to be here, Jason. Thank you very much.
Great. Yeah. Before we launch into Vision 2024, I have some exciting news to share about the Stay Home Gala. I think you know this as well. We are currently sitting at $199,414. So we're wondering who's going to push us over that $200,000 mark. That is just, yeah.
That's an incredible amount. Wow.
That is great. Yeah, it's amazing. So there's a scroller at the bottom of the screen. If you want to be that person, it's $586 donation. That's less than supporting a school for a year. $660 would do that, a classroom for a year. So you can give now at wellspring.ngo/give. Great. So Andy, Vision 2024. We were in Rwanda in October, right? And
yes, we are. So I wanted to give you a little update on where we're going. So obviously at the moment, we're dealing with a crazy situation with the COVID crisis. As we talked about yesterday, we've been able to supply 35 tons of food. That's 33,000 kilograms nearly of food to people in Rubavu district who are really in kind of an economic meltdown. There's a lot of hunger there. There's a lot of issues there. So Wellspring has kind of pivoted in order to make that happen. But that's not actually why we exist. Right now it is, because we've been able to feed over 12,000 people for over 2 weeks, and they need that. But our sole purpose for being is education. I want to read to you our vision and mission statement, because it really sums up who we are. Our vision is to be a catalyst for transforming education in Africa and to foster vibrant communities that address poverty in all its forms. And our mission is that we will seek justice, worth, and dignity for those we engage with as we show the love of Christ by empowering new generations through the development of quality education in Africa. And that's what we're here to do. So over the last 9 months, we've been working really hard behind the scenes as we think, where do we want education to be in Rwanda in 2024? And this year, we're going to be launching our new Vision 2024 program. It's not finally completed. It should have been finally completed. COVID kind of drew a line through that. We just felt we should take a few months and review where things are at, because obviously things are changing. But we pretty much know most of it. So I'd like to share that with you this morning. Is that okay, Jason? Can I do that? Absolutely. So a couple of things. First of all, there are things that really inform the way we do our work. So you've talked about justice, worth, and dignity for every child. That is our foundational principle. We want every child in Rwanda, and actually beyond, as you'll hear as I go through this, to have access to the same quality of education that every child here in Canada, or if you're watching from the UK, has. Now, that may look different in the way that it's rolled out. They may not have the incredible computer labs that we have. They may not have all the resources and government grants that we can get here, although the government does support quite a lot. But we do believe that the teaching practice and what they can come away from can be just as good as it is here. And why shouldn't it be? Why should there be any distinction between a child in Rwanda or a child in Canada or the UK? Now, the way we do that is we have a number of distinctives that inform our program. So as well as that desire for justice and dignity, we work a lot with leaders, as you've just heard from Sarah and Emily and yourself in that wonderful segment, by the way. So good to see our comms team up. Just so all of you know, our comms team makes magic happen, as you can see from this. So we work with those leaders, and we work with teacher multipliers through them. We have teacher multipliers in every school, teachers that we train to a very high standard that then echo that training down to other teachers. We also work in the community. One of the things we've realized is that you cannot have a healthy school if you don't have a healthy community support group behind it. We have to work with the parents. I know when I first started at Wellspring, there were many parents that didn't know the name that their school went to because education had not been a priority for them. They haven't been educated themselves, so why should they see education as a priority for their children? So we work in that area: justice, worth, and dignity for children, teachers and leaders, and the whole community. It's a whole educational ecosystem. So,
yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, someone later on in one of our partner moments just mentions on the impact of transforming a current generation, how that continues on into the next and to the next. And so you just touched on there about parents maybe that didn't go to school, not seeing the value of their children having to go to school, not knowing school names and that kind of stuff, right? So that's really cool.
So let me say a little bit about what we're going to do in some specific areas. So You've heard us talking about Rubavu. Oh, sorry, Jason, did you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, sorry. I think we have a slight delay just in us talking through here. That's fine. Yeah, I was just going to ask about where we were going, where we were going to be going, in those areas. Yeah.
Let me tell you why that delay is. I live, for those of you who don't know this, way out in the middle of nowhere, almost off grid. On a gravel road, and I'm on a satellite, and it's raining, and it's making this huge delay. So apologies for that, Jason. So I just want to tell you a little bit about this district called Rubavu that we work in, and some of the things we're going to do there. When we went there in 2017, we committed 5 years. We felt that 5 years we could achieve everything that we wanted to achieve in that time. And actually, we've come to realize that we've been very successful there, to be honest. It's been a very, very, very good first 2.5 years there. And so our program was due to end in 2022. But there are some things we are now going to build into that program that will actually extend it through to 2024.
Right.
Some very key specific things. One is inclusion. And this is actually going to be a priority right across our programs. But it's going to be particularly rolled out in the Gasabo district, which I'll talk about in a moment, and in Rubavu. Now, what do I mean by inclusion? When we go into schools in Rwanda, we often notice children sitting in corners, and they're not either paying much attention or they're not following. And what we've come to realize is that one of the reasons why is that they may have disabilities. And the problem is there's very little support for that in Rwanda. There is some, but there isn't much. Now, if we're going to say and talk about justice, worth, and dignity for every child, we have to find a way to make sure that they don't get left behind in the system.
That's right.
So we are making an absolute commitment that every child is going to be treated with the same justice, dignity, and worth. I think you mentioned yesterday we had some friends who came with us in 2013, and they were able to spot as doctors kids that couldn't see the board because they needed glasses and therefore were not able to be engaged. Well, we need to look at this. So we are making an absolute priority to look at inclusion for every child in the schools that we work in. So for starters, we've put all our team through some basic training on what that looks like, but we're also looking at taking on specialists to make us work with that, because we believe there are thousands of children that are just not able to participate to the level that they would be able to over here. We have to help them. So that's going to be a new focus for Wellspring as we go forward.
Louise touched on that the other day with teachers just assuming then that the children are not learning when maybe they're just not being taught in a way that works for them, right? And they're not being included, and so they just write those children off, right? So that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Another thing we're going to do, and this has been touched on already, it's really important. Louise actually touched on this with Gilbert in the video we saw about half an hour ago. Right. We have to think about early childhood education. All the statistics show that the earlier you engage a child, the more likely they are to complete their education. That has been a government priority in Rwanda, but it's not really been rolled out. So we have decided that particularly in Rubavu, but across our programs again, we're going to have a renewed focus on early childhood education. There's a couple of things we're going to do about that. But what I want to do, Jason, I believe you have a video direct from Rwanda from my dear friend, Rochelle, who has a passion for this and who wants to speak to us about it.
Yeah, I'll roll that right now. Yeah, we have Rochelle here, so she'll tell us a bit more about what's happening. Here we go.
Hello, friends. I am Rachel, talking to you from Rwanda. I just wanted to share with you about the work Wellspring is doing, especially in early childhood education. In fact, Wellspring we have been working with public primary and secondary school, but we have realized that it is very important to start early. That is why we thought that we should start with children in early childhood education at the very early age. In fact, this is a foundation. If one misses this part, it is really hard to repair in the middle. So, Wellspring, since last year, we started training teachers in pre-primary. Yeah, for us we call it pre-primary, but I think in Canada you call it kindergarten. So these teachers, they were very happy to be trained how to give quality education to these children at the very early age. They were about 89 teachers, and they testified that nobody had thought about them. So when Wellspring invited them and we trained them, they were really excited to know that even themselves they can give quality education. And these teachers went back to their schools, tried to implement what we have trained them in, and really results are promising. So Wellspring, in our Vision 2024, we want again to emphasize on this level of education. Early childhood education is very, very crucial, very, very important. So teachers at this level should be equipped on how to help children at the very early age. Parents as well, they need to. So we need to really invest in this. Instead of repairing when children are already in primary or secondary, it might sometimes be too late. But if we start early, children are likely to have good education. They are likely to stay in schools, because a child who has got a quality education in pre-primary at the very early age is likely to stay in school. It can reduce school dropout. That is what we believe as Wellspring. So we thank you for your support in this. We thank you for your partnership in this, as we are going to do more, I believe, in pre-primary education or early childhood education. I am sure and I believe that together we can make it. And together we are going to have a transformed world by giving quality education to the children, holistic education to the children. So I thank you so much, and stay home safely. All of us, we stay home safely. And I say thank you so much. Goodbye. Stay well. You were with Rachel.
Wow. So Rochelle, I just love Rochelle. You know, she hasn't been around as long as some of the other trainers. She's been around for a long time, and got to know her over that. And I just really love seeing her. I get to see her every October. She's just amazing. It's so great to work with her. She has such a passion about ECE, about inclusion as well, which you talked about, Andy. I know there's one other thing we wanted to talk about was the girls' education and issues around gender equality.
Yeah, that's right, Jason. So something that's very important to us at Wellspring is that we want to ensure that girls have not only an equal access to education, but they have an equal finish to education. And beyond that, that what they are able to access empowers them as they go forward. I think many people know that girls are left out of the education system in the majority world, right across the world. In fact, as one of the stats that I was really interested in, some of the things that Louise Lowden said a couple of days ago, but there would be 171 million fewer people if all I'll say that again, 171 million fewer people living in poverty if all students in lower income countries learn basic reading skills. And one of the problems is that we find that girls have way less ability in some areas to access some of those basic building blocks of the future. And the reason for that, particularly in our area, is that there's a lot of issues with things like teen pregnancy. There's a lot of issues of the fact that they're living in our areas. A lot of people are living in poverty, and so when you've got 4 children and you want to send them to school, even though it's free education, you've still got to buy 4 uniforms. Right. And a school uniform is a huge amount of someone's salary. So who gets left out? The girl.
Yeah.
And why does she get left out? Well, because a lot of parents will think in a more traditional style, she's going to leave the family, she's going to be in someone else's family, so why would I educate her? So we still deal with a lot of those kind of issues. So there is a real drive for us to really be concerned for girls' education in Rubavu.
Are there other specific issues, Andy, right? Like there's a few other things we want to tackle in the months ahead, right? The years ahead. What are some of those? Yeah.
So one of the things we want to tackle is around dropout. So particularly around the dropout areas in Rubavu, we've been quite successful in Gasabo. We want to really work on that in Rubavu. So one of the key issues for us is girls dropout. It's dropout right across the board, but girls dropout. Right. Government stats say only 38% of children make it into secondary school. 38%. That's 1 in 3, basically. We believe it might even be worse than that. So we are going to work very hard to combat dropout. We've already begun to do it. We have seen schools in our first 2.5 years in Rubavu that have seen their dropout rates reduce from hundreds to nearly 0. That is incredible. We want to keep that momentum going, and we want to push that forward a lot further, particularly for girls. And actually, one of the ways we're going to do that is by working in the community. So you can part of it is setting up the schools to be so good that the kids don't want to drop out. Right. But part of it is working with those parents and community leaders. Particularly want to thank one particular group that's helping us on that. It's the Stronger Together Foundation, or group of foundations that came together, have given us a grant in order to trial a program where we can go into the communities and also work in ECE in order to combat dropout. So that's going to be one.
Yeah, and Andy, sorry, just jump in there. Joel and I had a talk about merit yesterday. So you talk about dropout rates and going from the numbers that it were to how low it is now. But we actually have the hard data on that because we've been doing observations in these classrooms as we go, right? And so we've been keeping those stats for the last number of years, and we know what those rates are, which is great. Sorry, I just got a message, Andy. Someone has given the $586, and we've just hit $200,000 for the stay home.
Suddenly I feel like I'm on the telephone.
Yeah, it does feel like a bit like a telethon. Yeah.
And I just want to throw that back to all the people that have given $200,000 to make this possible, because all of this money is going direct to Rwanda. Some of it's going to be used for food relief in this crisis. Some of it's going to be used for the surge in operations we need to do when we go back. Some will be being used for our work as we're shifting education onto the radio in this time where the schools closed. Some will be used for putting better sanitation stations into the schools. So that money is so grateful. So we're only 50,000 off our target now. That's amazing. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Can I just push forward, because I know we have many things we want to get through this morning. So Jason, maybe we could go into the next section that you have.
Yeah,
there.
I was just wondering about Gasabo now, right? Because we keep talking about Rubavu and what we're doing in Rubavu, and that seems to be the main focus. But there's still stuff happening in Gasabo, right?
Yes. So Gasabo was the first place, the first district we went to when we finished our work with the Wellspring Academy that we'll talk about in a moment. And it's a great district. It's a kind of mixture of urban and rural. It's around the capital area, but it also goes out into some rural areas outside of it. We ran our school development program there for 7 years. It was tremendously successful, unbelievably successful. In fact, it's been featured in a number of places all over our sector in educational development as how a program should be run, including affirmation from the Canadian government, the British government, and others. We came to the end of that cycle of the program, and we wondered what next. Did we just shift ourselves over to another district, which we did at Rubavu? But we also realized there was a lot more that needed to happen in Gasabo. So we are just about to launch a brand new program. It's going to be called Leading Learning for All, and we'll have more details on that in the months and years to come. But basically, it's got 5 major keys I just want to outline to you right now.
Great.
It's going to have, there are going to be stronger educational partnerships. So that's going to be between parents and schools. We're going to build stronger partnerships between parents and schools. And do remember, as I think Sarah and Emily said in their segment earlier, when they went past that school that Sarah and I went to a few years back, Kurema, and when we went past it in October and we saw these classrooms were built, it's parents that are making that happen. It's parents that are running school feeding programs. It's our asset-based community development program working with parents to mobilize them. So a stronger partnership between the school and parents in Rwanda is even more powerful than the partnerships we find here in Canada. So we're going to be doing that as we move beyond infrastructure and improving learning outcomes. We're actually going to be moving into let's get the whole community involved. Secondly, we're going to have more effective sharing. So we're developing some really innovative educational leadership practices in Gasabu. The ways we're working with some of the leaders there are really quite innovative.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is we're going to be taking those practices and sharing them across the whole of the educational sector in Rwanda. So rather than just using Gasabo and that's it, we want Gasabo to be a learning lab, a place where things can blossom out to the rest of Rwanda.
Right.
We're going to have greater collaboration between school leaders through a leadership network. So we're setting up a whole leadership network where all the school leaders can work together. So we've done that really well in our one-on-one mentoring, but now we're setting up a network where they are together. Turikumwe is one of the ways in which we're talking about this week. They are going to be together. Fourthly, we're going to have improved mechanisms for teacher training that's going to be developed and led by school and district leaders. So we are going to set these mechanisms up, but we're actually going to roll them out through the leaders we've been training. So rather than it being, this is our dream, right? This is good development. Rather than it just being Wellspring going in and doing this, we're going to be training the leaders so that they can do better. And finally, we're going to have critical new learning for teachers and school leaders in high impact areas through pilot projects, workshop, in-school support and peer learning. I'll give you one example that we're just working on at the moment.
Sure.
For those of you who are teachers, you'll understand this. A key part of education in our country is formative assessment. That's when a teacher looks at an individual pupil in a lesson in her class or his class and says, okay, this is where I assess this child to be in their scale of learning. And this is what we need to do to move them forward. So they don't just look at the whole classroom body, they look at the individual child. So every child has kind of a personal plan. We don't have that in Rwanda, but we're going to. And we are going to pilot that. Within Gasabo, we're working on a whole process for formative assessment so that every child has the ability to be assessed by their teacher and have more personal coaching to get them towards their educational goals. That's a huge thing in Rwanda, and we believe if we can make it work there, we can make it work right across the country. So that's just a tiny part of it. We're really, really excited about what we're going to be doing there, and we believe that has impact right across not just Rwanda, actually, but across East Africa if we can make it work.
Yeah, that is really, really exciting. So we've chatted about Rubavu, we've chatted about Gasabo, and some other specifics of our program there. So looking at big picture, if we come back to big picture and we talk a bit about the work we've been doing to see transformation across Rwanda at the systemic level, Wellspring really does have a unique opportunity to impact individual lives, but also the development of quality education across Rwanda. Can you tell us what that's going to look like in years ahead? I know there's some big things there, and
So impacting right across Rwanda, you're talking about how we impact right across. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So I was thinking now, and I don't want to steal your thunder here in some of that, but there's, talking about Christian schools in Rwanda, or talking about some of that stuff. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So as you know, Wellspring started off with building the academy. The dream was to build a school that would produce a next generation of leaders for Rwanda, and that would become self-sustaining, and that would be a really high quality. And we did that. 2013, we handed over the keys to a board. We're still very engaged with that school, though. It's now one of the best schools in Rwanda. It runs the Cambridge curriculum. It's a Christian school. And I do want to underline for everyone watching, we are a Christian organization. We do not go into schools and preach the gospel, but we live it out all the time. And our aim is to see a Christian values-inspired education happen in the country. But there are places where we can go a little bit further than that. So one of the things we've been involved in is the school. And over the coming years, we're going to put more emphasis on that school to get it to an even higher level. But we're going to do that to a wider grouping of Christian schools in the country as well. Christian education in Rwanda is a little different from here in that Christian education in Canada is very much a segment where it can be high quality, but it is still fairly similar to what you would find in a public school in terms of the level of education. I know some people might disagree with me on that, but I'm seeing that on a global scale. In Rwanda, Christian schools tend to be way higher resourced than public schools. And so the level of education tends to be way higher. They're private, they're fee paying.
Right.
We are working on a network that we've helped set up called the Christian Schools Rwanda Network. We're bringing over 33 Christian schools together now to take them to an even higher level, because we want them to produce young people of excellence and young people of professional integrity and people of values. So we're working with them, and that's touching thousands more young people within the Christian education context as well, right across the country. And we're actually looking at that in other countries as well, as we talk about in a minute. I'm just going to move on as well, Jason, if I may, to the next thing. It's very important. So we've talked about what Wellspring does. But there is another thing that we do in collaboration with partners that is just as important. So Shauna, yesterday you talked about we always bring it back to the one person, or a couple of days ago, we always bring it back to the one person, and we do.
Yep.
So our work in schools, in these 134 schools with 200,000 kids almost directly, is very important to us. But we also work at a way higher systemic level. So Libby Karangwa-Miles, our wonderful country director, and Dr. Emmanuel Sibomana, who I believe is watching with us, who's my friend, our director of policy engagement, and a few others, work at a more systemic level as well. So we are the co-chairs of an organization called the Rwanda Education NGO Coordination Platform, RENCP. Sounds like a song. I'm not going to sing it. No, I'm not. But that's a very important body, because that body comes together with nearly 100 other NGOs and works together to do three things. Number one, to cooperate across the country to say, how can we learn from each other? It's a learning and collaborative platform. Number two, to conduct joint research and to learn together how we can come forward with a better scale of education quality in Rwanda from the NGO sector. And three, and this is very important, it represents the NGO sector to central government and sometimes to district governments as well. So that body is represented to the Ministry of Education. Some of the things that are discussed there are adopted as national policy. And we are one of the heads of that body. And that's a very important thing for us. And in these coming years, these 4 years, we're going to be really developing some advocacy priorities that we want to see rolled out and shared right across the sector. So that's going to impact children right across Rwanda. It's a very important thing. Also, within that context, one of the things that Wellspring is realizing is that we do have a strong voice nationally in Rwanda. Within Rubavu, one of the reasons we've been able to respond so strongly to the food security issue there is we're the biggest NGO in that district. It's an important district. The second largest city in Rwanda is in that district, Gisenyi.
Right.
And we are very, very, very committed to that district, but we're also committed nationally. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be developing resources in these coming 5 years that can be rolled out nationally. I can't commit to anything yet, but there are some things we're already beginning to work on that would we believe have the ability to be in the hands of every teacher in Rwanda. And actually, I do, and this is a big, big goal. I can tell you, and I haven't said this before, I've got a spider crawling across my head. I can tell you that our aim is that over 2 million children in Rwanda are impacted by in a systemic level. So maybe they don't sit down with one of our trainers, but they're impacted by the work of Wellspring in the country at a deep level by 2024. 2 million young children. That will be something very special for us.
Yeah.
So that's our passion is for the whole of Rwanda. We use these two districts of Gasabo and Rubavu as a model for what we want to see the country to be.
Right. And I think of, working on radio lessons right now, that's just one example potentially of what those shareable resources could look like to help reach those 2 million children.
Absolutely, Jason. And Libby and I'm connecting. I mean, all the days at Wellspring are very long at the moment in this COVID crisis. So I'm starting, and I'm not the only one, but I'm often starting with Louise, our other leadership team member from Canada, at 6 a.m. on Slack call, no, Zoom calls to, man, I wish we all had shares in Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom calls to Rwanda, and often finishing late at night on WhatsApp with Libby. So one of the things we have talked about is, hey, we're doing this faster than we thought. Over 51 lessons produced that are being broadcast nationally. So that's quite something. However, we want to go beyond Rwanda. It's time. We made a decision a few years back to go really, really deep in one country. We have had numerous requests to go and work elsewhere, and every time we've kind of looked at it, but we've said no, it's not right for us. We wanted to go so deep in one country, and actually, I chat with a lot of my colleagues, my friends who are CEOs in other organizations, and they are often in 9 or 10 countries, but they'll often say to me, man, we are nowhere as deep as you are in any of them. And I love the fact that they're right across the spectrum and can do so much, but I also love the fact that we've gone so deep. But it is time to spread that. Our vision is spreading beyond East Africa, and we are Rwanda into East Africa,
right.
And we are in advanced stages of forming partnerships in other countries in the area as well. We already have a footprint in some of those areas. Through the Abundant Leadership Institute, which we've been able to birth out, is no longer a part of Wellspring, but we've been happy to birth out as a separate institution, as we did the Academy. We had a footprint in many countries around the area. We also used to have a work in Burundi, and we still have links into that country there. There are other countries we're working at as well. We'll have more to say on that in the future, but some of those conversations are very advanced now, and we're very excited about them.
It's amazing. It is really great, and I love that we have gone deep and we've done things well, and that we are open-handed and we're willing to share things. So it'll be exciting to see where we end up at the end of 2024. Hopefully, there's a couple of places that we'll end up, which is great. Andy, thank you so much for sharing this stuff. It really is exciting times for us. I see your hand go up because I think
Jason, I just wanted to say a few more things, if I may. First of all, about North America. One of the things we believe as well is that we need to be active in advocating for international development priorities in North America. So we've been spending a lot more time in places like Ottawa,
and we've been spending a lot more time
on national. Yeah, so we're going to be advocating a lot more in terms of what we believe international development priorities should be across the sphere. And we also are going to be working a lot more closely with you, our partners, to engage you in this work. We would love you to come to Rwanda with us next February. We would love you to be part of what we're doing. So that's a part of it. And the final thing I want to say, if I may, Jason, and I don't have you on screen, so I don't know if you have this scrolling or if I should read it out, but I want to say a thank you to all of our incredible partners that have made this possible. And that is something very special to us. We have donors at every level. We have students who are giving, $10 at events or $15 a month. We have massive foundations that are giving amazing amounts of money. I just want to read some of those foundations out, if I may. Do you have it on the screen, Jason, or should I read it out?
I do not. I can work that out. Maybe. Yeah, it's probably good for you to read it out. Yeah.
I'm happy I don't want to throw another curveball at you. Okay. People like the MJ Murdoch Charitable Trust, the Lawless Family Foundation, the Acts of Grace Foundation, Adventurer Foundation, Toronto Foundation, Farley Foundation, Riverdali Foundation, Cahelia Foundation, the Red Leaf Foundation, the Bridgeway Foundation, Stronger Together, the Jackman Foundation, the Langford Family Foundation, the Rossshire Foundation, the Charis Foundation, the Open Bible Chapel Foundation, the Felsen Foundation, the Seacliff Foundation, the Owen Weems Charitable Trust, the Smart Foundation, the NWM Private Giving Foundation, and all of our amazing donors who ride lake to lake, who put themselves out to come out to our galas, who go to Okanagan evenings, who've been to 4 stages and events in open houses in Ontario, who give monthly on our school partner program, which partners them up with a school that they can actually be engaged in one of these schools and get regular updates from it. You can find out more about that on our website. This doesn't happen without you. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much to all of you for making this happen. I get a lot of encouragement and affirmation, and our team do as well, but it doesn't happen without our partners. So that's our vision, that we would stay together, change a nation, move beyond the change nation. And Turikumwe, we are together, we would do it together. Thanks so much for this time, Jason. I've really enjoyed sharing it with you.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. It was brought to my attention. Oikadome Foundation, Joyful Living, Joyful Giving. There's lots. If we've missed anybody, thank you all.
Lots
As
more.
Andy
I'm
has
so
said.
sorry. I
Yeah.
condone joyful living, joyful giving, and if I have forgotten any, I am deeply sorry. You know who you are, and we
Yes.
deeply appreciate you.
And many of our partners are happy to just give without anyone knowing as well. And so, yeah, we just thank you all for that partnership. You know what? We have big dreams for the years ahead and big dreams for the children of Rwanda, as you've heard. And we've got a brand new video that explains this perfectly. A little short one here that I'm going to roll now for you all. Thank you, Andy, so much. And we'll watch this film here.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Okay, maybe we're celebrating a bit early. But every child deserves this moment. This joy. This triumph. This graduation. Quality education starts here. But it shouldn't end until the cap and gown fit just a little bit better.
Well, it's been a really encouraging morning, hearing from Sarah and Emily about how Wellspring's work has been impacting schools and communities in Rwanda, to hear more about the vision God has placed in our hearts, to see this work expand and deepen in the years ahead. Great to talk with Andy about some of that. Thanks for being part of this story. Whether you've been tracking with Wellspring since the very beginning, as many of you have, or whether you're brand new to this work, like us hearing from Alita Thomas the other day, we are just so thankful that you are part of this story. So we are going to jump straight into our next segment. We are not taking a break. We're going to stick around because I know that I got a text message while I was talking to Andy to say that time was running out on the silent auction. So I need to bring in some of my coworkers, Kelly and Christy, and maybe even Shauna as well. And they are going to give us an update on what is happening with the silent auction. So let me see if I can grab them right now. I've changed the schedule around a little bit and we're not taking that break. So I'm just going to pull these guys in if I can find them here on my Skype. And let's see. There we go. I'll get Christy up here and then we'll add the rest of these gals as well. So just 1 second while I call Christy. Hello, Christy.
Hello.
How are you doing? You're not on screen yet. I will pull you up right now. You and I are split screen.
It's with everybody. It's not just me.
Yeah, and you are live on the live stream now, and it's you and me for the moment while I get everybody else on the screen because we skipped the break. So
okay.
I'm a little bit out of time. So great. I'm going to grab Kelly. I will grab Shauna as well. We know that there's roughly 27 minutes left in the silent auction, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And how are things going?
Well, there's been a flurry of activity. So if you are bidding on items, I encourage you to make sure and double check, refresh your screen to ensure that you have the most up-to-date information. We've also got some buy it now items. For those of you that are looking for maybe a Mother's Day gift, these are fantastic gift items. And so we still have some items there, some Rwandan children's books, some baskets, some salad tongs, and some jewelry. Just be sure that you scroll all the way to the bottom. We have some beautiful Rwandan canvases left and some photos taken by Jeff Heath, our filmmaker. So make sure that you take a look at those in our Buy It Now section. And remember that with every purchase and every bid, that you are empowering every member of the school community that we talked about this morning. Students, teachers, parents, and leaders. And yeah, we've got a lot more. And so I'm sure everybody would love to hear more about our silent auction update. Shauna, do you have some information to share?
Yes, we are. It's been a good morning. We are currently, I'm just refreshing the page, we're at $11,761, which is amazing. Thank you, everyone, for getting us to this point. We have 26 minutes left in the silent auction. So
I believe
jump
it's
in there,
25 minutes
wellspringgala.ca.
and 17 seconds, 15, 14. Yeah, I got a countdown timer. I got to add some text to say that it's ending. But the timer is there. If you want to be exact, it's on the screen in the bottom right-hand corner. Actually, I'll put it up right by the Stay Home Gala little logo there.
There we go.
Is the timer. Wonderful.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Yeah, so just a little bit of time left. So get over there. We've got a couple of items that don't have any bids. If you want to see those ones really easily, just when you click on the silent auction items at the very top, you can click on a category and it says items with no bids. So you can head over there and see if there are any of those that you would like to jump in on before it is too late. So yeah, it's going well, but we've got some really specific items that we want to promo right now. And Kelly has all the deets on those.
Hello. Do you guys see me? Am I here? Yeah? Awesome.
Yeah, you are. You and Shauna are split screen.
Awesome. All right. So I just wanted to highlight a couple things, like Shauna said. Our sealed bid item, the Whistler package, is still only sitting at 2 bids. So if this is something that you are interested in, a weekend away in Whistler, I mean, I would happily go. The condo actually sleeps up to 8. So like grab some friends and go in on this together. It's a split level condo, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, just outside Whistler Village in Creekside, close to the grocery store. It's got a gondola right up to Whistler. And it also includes the 2 passes to the Scandinavia Spa and the Zip Truck Adventure. So yeah, grab your friends, go in on that, go with your highest bid. The highest at the moment is probably pretty easy to beat. So just put a bug in your ear there. And also I wanted to tell you more about our foodie basket. It's still up there. It's only sitting at $95, which is like crazy to me. It's got 12 delicious artisan sauces, condiments, and seasoning. So we have 3 different flavors of Wildcraft mustard and 2 jars of East Van jam, as well as barbecue sauce, Himalayan salt, artisan hot sauce, balsamic dressing, and some super fun pickles. So go take a look at that. And then I also wanted to just tell you guys really quickly about the Kizzy's macarons. There's a $70 credit there to her shop. She's actually local to me, and her macarons are one of my favorite treats. She's actually always at our local farmers market. So in the summer, I usually take my daughter and she takes a coin from her piggy bank and goes to buy her little macaron. And Kizzy is so sweet. She always slips an extra cookie in there for my daughter. So I love.
And they're gluten-free too, right?
And they are all gluten-free, every single flavor, including her cookies and cream, which is one of my favorites. And she's always got seasonal flavors too. Like just for Easter, she had a cream egg flavor. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. So yeah, $70 to her shop, which is an equivalent of 40 macarons, which is a great when the social isolation is all over. Go pick up a box of macarons and visit a friend. They'll love you. And she's also open with contactless pickup at her shop. So yeah, definitely check her out. Yeah, and if there's any other details we want to fill people in on, guys?
No, I mean, we've got 23 minutes, so head over there, check it out. I know Christy already gave an update before we jumped in about some of the marketplace items and the photos and stuff. So yeah, lots of those left.
Yeah, go take a look.
Excellent. So that's our update. So there is a timer at the bottom of the screen. We've got 21 minutes, 38 seconds until the silent auction ends. So make sure if there's something you want, you better get on it. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Sean, I'm just going to keep you up for a couple of minutes if I possibly could. We're going into, there was the draw for donations. I don't want to get into a whole lot of detail there. I just realized, though, that the battery's died on my camera, so you can't actually see me, so I'm leaving you up for now. Yeah, so you guys, just a reminder, we have 21 minutes until the silent auction ends. Great. We're going to jump into just a couple of partner moments. Yeah, we just have a couple more partner moments from friends of Wellspring whose commitment has really played a significant part in making these stories that you've the stories that you've heard about today. It helps make that possible. We're here from Pamela Shaw And then Stephen Bennett, who is our board chair, who has been around forever and actually was involved in the interview of hiring me on. So, and I think he's going to mention playing rugby at Trinity Western University. I'm pretty sure we played against each other, and both as scrum half. So really, really, yeah. Anyways, here we go. So let's hear from a couple of partners. And just a reminder, you have about 20 minutes left to get in on the silent auction. Thank you so much, Shauna, Kelly, Christy. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Good.
Why have we chosen to support Wellspring? Well, that answer is simple. It's because we believe in what Wellspring is doing in Rwanda. We love the heart of Wellspring, the desire to bring Christian values-based education to children and to see the faces of students who are now studying under a completely different model, which values the individual and recognizes the dignity of each child, is life-changing. And I love the impact of Wellspring. But not only that, I love the way that Wellspring looks to step into the next gap. I love that Wellspring is stepping into the need, particularly of women and young girls, in helping them to build a better future for themselves so that they're not caught in the cycle of poverty that leads girls to be sold into trafficking or forced into early marriage and abusive situations. Education brings hope to young girls and women because it creates a different path forward for them. And we are excited to see that now graduates of the Wellspring Academy are students at Christian University in Canada. And we're pleased to see that cycle going full circle to where now those people that were educated in Wellspring schools where Wellspring has had an impact, where attendance goes up exponentially, where completion of secondary school goes up exponentially, where lives are changed and generations are changed, and therefore an entire country is changed. And the impact of that is not really fathomable in our finite minds. Because if you change one generation's future, you change the next generation's future, and the next, and the next. And you change the trajectory of future generations wherever Wellspring is working. And it's our blessed privilege to walk with an organization like this.
Hello, everyone. My name is Quentin. Today, I am joined by Stephen Bennett. Stephen is not only a leader in the charitable sector himself, but he is a longtime supporter of Wellspring. He is on the board of directors. I mean, you could pretty much say that he's somewhat positive on Wellspring. Stephen, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
I'll jump right in, Stephen. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about how you got connected to Wellspring and a little about the why behind why you decided to support this organization?
Well, it happened a long time ago. So it was when I was at university at Trinity Western. I played on the rugby team there, and while I was there, two guys a couple of years younger than me came from Africa and started playing rugby on our rugby team. One was Richard Taylor and the other was Jeff Comont. And so I got to know those guys a little bit through playing rugby with them years ago. And not too long after they graduated or left Trinity, they started Wellspring. And I remember having a couple of coffees with Richard talking about what he and Jeff were trying to do. I was really impressed with their tenacity and their courage at getting this going. And I really didn't, know much about Africa at the time, but I knew a lot about Richard and Jeff, and I was interested in supporting them. And then, not too long after that, I think maybe about 6 months after Wellspring started, I was invited to join the board of directors, and at the time it seemed like a no-brainer to me, and got involved mostly because of my relationship with Richard and Jeff. And but over the years, I've obviously continued that involvement, and been to Rwanda twice now. Love the country, love what Wellspring does, and really love my involvement with Wellspring.
And we are thrilled to have you. Is there something special about Wellspring as you've been to Rwanda, as you've been around the leadership and the team? What's something that you think is unique about the organization, or something that appeals to you?
I think something, there's a number of things that appeal to me, but something that sticks out with Wellspring that has always appealed to me is the people. We have had over the years some incredible people involved on staff with this organization, as well as on the board and just surrounding the organization. But I'm thinking in particular about staff members, from the people that were involved in setting up our education programs right at the beginning in Rwanda, to people involved in our office team here in Canada, to our teacher trainers that run our programs out in Rwanda. The people I've met through Wellspring are just incredible. And through those people, Wellspring has an unbelievable impact amongst children in Rwanda. I can't think of an organization that has a greater impact dollar for dollar than what Wellspring does. The tens of thousands of kids that have been impacted by our programs it's just amazing to me. I'm very proud of the people that are involved in making that happen. Another thing that appeals to me about Wellspring is the ability to be flexible and innovate, and we've had to roll with a lot of punches over the years. Operating as a charity in Rwanda has its own challenges, and governments can change policies on a whim, and we have to be flexible and adapt. And it's incredible to watch our team on the ground in Rwanda adapt. And I think even in our current COVID-19 environment, watching the head office team in Canada, along with our Rwandan team, all of a sudden pivot, and we're bringing food relief to people that need it. Where we've got our teacher trainers, our drivers for programs in Rwanda now, and we've just shifted really quickly and been able to mobilize and continue our impact in spite of very challenging circumstances. So
yes.
Really, it's the people, it's the flexibility, it's the ability to adapt and continue to grow and have just major impact is what really impresses me and keeps me connected.
Well, thank you, Stephen. And coming from a leader like yourself, that's high praise indeed. Thank you for joining me today. Bless you, and I wish you all the best in these weeks to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So great. That's a good morning, a bit of a long morning. I will get a timer up here to let us know how much is left in the silent auction. To get back to the silent auction, not the give now, you can go to our Gala website. So that is scrolling across the screen right now, wellspring.ngo/stayhomegala. There is a green bar that will take you straight to the silent auction. At this point, it looks like there's about 12 minutes left. I will get a timer up. We are going to head into a break now. We're coming back at 12 o'clock to wrap up our Stay Home Gala. All right. We are back. It is official. The silent auction is now closed. I've got Shauna up here with me, so it's
Yes.
closed.
Did it. We broke the $12,000 mark
Wow.
in that little break. So thank you everybody who jumped on with that flurry of activity at the end. The total that I've got here is $12,151, which is just amazing. So thank you so much for participating, for buying items, for bidding on them. We are very excited to get all of these pieces out to you. So just a little bit of information for those of you who won items, you'll receive some communication about how to get your payment through, but you're also going to receive an email in the next few days from our staff, and we're going to connect with you on how to pick up those pieces. So if you've purchased, if you want a pass or a gift card or a certificate, we'll be sure to either email or mail that to you. That's not a problem. For the physical items, we're going to be contacting you the week after, like in the next week, to arrange shipping. So shipping costs are additional. If you're local to BC, we're going to be having a couple of days where you can do a contactless curbside pickup at our office, or we can arrange shipping. And if you really need it, if you are unable to leave your home, we can talk to you about how to get that to you as well if you live in the Lower Mainland. So just a note, there are a couple items that are local to the Okanagan and Ontario as well. So we're going to make sure that we get all those to everybody in as quick as we can. But things are a bit tricky right now, so just have a bit of patience. And once again, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of our sponsors. Everybody who donated, all the small companies, all of the individuals who came together to help make this what it was. We are so appreciative of you and for the your generosity at a time when things are really difficult for everybody. So a huge thank you to all of our sponsors once again, and thank you to everybody for participating in this really fun piece of our event.
Yeah, it's huge, and every year, I mean, a lot of these sponsors, they're giving gifts every single year. And I don't know, Shauna, how long have you been running the gala for us now? It's been, I don't even know.
A handful of years now. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've been involved in the silent auction part for I think this is my 8th gala that I've helped out with the silent auction thing. So yeah, it's been really cool to see and to see those relationships build. So thank you, everyone.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. So essentially then we're going to be in contact with people to make sure that things get where they need to go. And great. So just over $12,000 for silent auction. That is amazing. Awesome. Well, thanks, Shauna. I'm going to pull Barb up.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me get Barb. All right. We'll talk to you soon, Shauna. Thank you.
Bye.
I have Barb, and I muted Barb by accident. Sorry, Barb. Are you unmuted now? No. You might just have to hit your mute button, Barb, because I muted you, and I see that I can't unmute you now. Barb, there we go.
We're trying to keep quiet.
It looked like maybe the men in your house might have been making some noise, and you needed them to be quiet. So I was like, I'll just mute you, and that would be great.
That's helpful when you work from home, hey?
Barb, I think back to my first days at Wellspring, and I think sitting in your atrium where you are now with Richard and trying to work out what does this all look like now. Now we have another employee. It wasn't just you and Richard anymore. And so, I mean, that's February 2009, right? That's a long time, and you've been on from the beginning, right? So
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, I'm the old matriarch here.
You are the team mom for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of jumped the gun a little bit, Andy and I were just so excited that we were so close to $200,000. We did share a little bit there about that. I'm guessing you have a fundraising update. Sorry, I have stuck in my head, I always think of Stephen Bennett as the board chair because he was the board chair when I came on. And so I'm apologizing now to Kevin Asman because I know that you are the board chair. But I just think of Stephen in that capacity. He interviewed me for my job and then, that way back when. And so I just have that in my head that he is. But yeah, great. All right. Do you have a running total for us? We hit 200,000 a little bit earlier.
Yes. I wish I had a drum roll.
You know what? I have some sound effects, I think, here somewhere. Let me see if I've got a sound effect that is a drum roll. Do I? I have applause. I have an applause sound effect that I could.
Okay, let's do that.
Yep. You tell me, and I'll make it clap when we hit the total.
Okay, the total is $214,581.
$214,581. Is that what you said? So wow, here's the applause. Absolutely amazing.
Now we still have $11,285 left for matching. So that's still available today till midnight. So please, everyone that hasn't given, that has the capacity, small or large, take advantage of this match and help these children in Rwanda.
That is amazing. Thank you, Barb. And I believe I am bringing you back a little bit later because this is our final part of the show today.
Yes.
The final time that we will be live with people. So you're going to come back a little bit later after we hear from a couple more partners, review a film again, and then Quinta. So it's a little bit later, but I'll make sure I get you up in plenty of time. Awesome. Thank you so much, Barb. We'll talk to you soon. And Barb is gone. It's back to just me. So, wow, that is absolutely amazing. Such an encouraging way to enter into the final piece of our Stay Home Gala. We are so humbled. We are just so grateful for your generosity. And we are excited for the difference that this is going to make into the lives of the Rwandan children, schools, families, and communities. Yeah, it's just great. There's still time to be part of this change. And my colleague, Quentin, our Western Development Director, is going to share a bit more about that in just a moment. But first, we are going to share a brief conversation that Quentin had this week with another one of our partners, Ben Kellert. And Ben has been involved commenting on the live stream all the way along through the last few days. And so we're just going to watch this conversation between Quentin and Ben, and we'll be back with Quentin right after that. So here is Ben.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Quentin. Today, I am joined by Ben Kellert. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning.
And I need to introduce you properly because you have probably the best resume I have ever seen. Ben, you are a pastor of not only one church, but two. You are a gospel singer. You are a professional auctioneer. And you are the mayor of Killam, Alberta. Is that correct?
True. Yes, that's true. Yep.
And I really hope you have that all on a business card because I would love to receive that. Thanks for joining me, Ben.
Absolutely.
So Ben, if you wouldn't mind just telling me a little bit about how you got connected with Wellspring. What led you to, of all the charities out there, what led you to join and be part of the Wellspring family?
Initially it was through my sister. I was introduced to Wellspring Foundation for Education through my sister, and her enthusiasm and her excitement and her passion for the organization intrigued me. And so I began to dig a little bit deeper into what Wellspring was all about. I began to dig a little deeper into what it was really that impressed her so much about this organization. And after digging deeper and joining her and a team of individuals from here in Canada on a vision trip to Rwanda in 2019, I quickly discovered what it was that just made her so passionate about the whole organization. And so that was really what it, that was the life changer for me, was just learning kind of on paper, but then seeing it personally there and being on the ground in Rwanda. That just changed everything for me, as far as even my desire to be a part of support and encouragement and just even telling people about it. So
yeah. And what have you come to appreciate about Wellspring, and how has it made a difference in your life?
I think there's three words, really, Quentin. There's three words that encapsulate what I appreciate about Wellspring. The first word would be passion. Everyone that I've met, from the Canadian Board of Directors and staff to the ones that are the boots on the ground in Rwanda, are absolutely committed and passionate about what they're doing. It's not a job for them or a burden for them. It is a passion, it is a calling, and they fulfill their duties with every ounce and fiber in their being. So that's the first thing, was their passion, the passion with which, you know, the operation is run and so on. The second word that I would use would be quality. My dad had a saying, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Well, that certainly applies here. Providing quality, life-changing, community-transforming education is so necessary. And so if we're going to do it, you've got to do it well. And that's what they do. You may as well, if you're going to do it, you may as well do it with all of the strength and all of the grace and all of the ability that God makes available to you. And then thirdly, the third thing that really impressed me about the organization was integrity. So, you know, the passion, the quality, the integrity. In order for any organization to stand the test of time, it is absolutely crucial that it performs all of its duties and its operations with dignity, with honor, with respect, and with transparency. And this is what I witnessed from the leadership here in Canada and the board, to the administration and the staff in Rwanda, and from the staff to the precious, unforgettable children and the communities and the homes that they come from, that those children come from. And so that's what really impressed me about the organization, just the passion, the quality, and the integrity. Three things that really have sold me on the ministry and the operation of Wellspring Foundation for Education.
Love it. Ben, you say it so well. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. Thank you for being part of the family. God bless you, sir.
God bless you too. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ben. Just amazing to hear you speak. I love hearing partners share their perspective on who we are, and just amazing. So for those of you that don't know, and I don't know how many do know, Ben is Linda Milkey's brother. So we did hear from Linda yesterday. Was it yesterday? I believe it was yesterday. So just great for that connection to happen. And Ben, you've just been so amazing during this whole Stay Home Gala. It's been so encouraging to see your comments on the chat. Just wonderful. We're looking forward to hearing from Quentin again in just a moment. But before we do, for anyone who missed it yesterday, we want to give you the opportunity to see the second of our brand new films, The Impact of Quality Education. This is about the impact that you are making possible through your partnership. So enjoy it and be encouraged.
When I was here in, I don't remember where, but it is in 2015. Yes, I was in P6 for sure. We were preparing for national exam in primary. I was really amazed by the hard working of the teachers here. When they were trying to show us the way the problem are solved, they give us the advice that are really good, and for sure we had to follow it. And I followed these ideas and those advices they gave us, and also I was so amazed and I scored the best marks in national exam.
When I was in this school, what made me happy is that our teachers were supportive and they were giving us opportunity to support our others.
They did some exercises and quizzes in groups, and they had some free time to go and relax together as friends.
My favorite memories when I don't know the question. I go and ask teacher, and teacher explain for me deeply, and I know it.
Because we work with the parents and the teachers and the school leaders, I think it is what is matter. Yeah, to work with those who help the children, we empower them, and they in return empower the children, teach the children. So I think what is matter is those parents and teachers and school leaders.
Teaching is like to grow something, and when you educate, you can see how your child grow more than yesterday, and he become someone who is good for himself and for his society.
I saw that teachers changed a lot because they taught us different values like hygiene and cleanliness, helping each other, friendship, and so many other values.
My family helped me in studying. When I don't know things, they can explain to me. They encourage me to study very hard. They pay for me school fees. They give me school materials. And they give me food also, because you can study without eating.
Personally, I think Wellspring joined my feelings about education. To educate all person, not only to give knowledge, but all person, mind, singing, and so on, by values, by cross-cutting issues, and they sing not only one person but all society.
I would be a doctor because there are some viruses that are being made in these years, like coronavirus, Ebola, and I know I could study PCB so that I can treat those viruses.
I want to be entrepreneur.
In the future, I really like to be. I would like to be an inventor of any technology or any applications.
I want to be a doctor. I see that many people don't have enough doctors to take care of them because doctors are still few in our country.
The number of diseases is increasing and we have a shortage of doctors in our country. That is why I want to become a doctor.
I love my job because we know education is the future of our country. Is the foundation is education. We know that it is important today to help the children to raise their heads and hearts, and also help the community to come together to help those children, because one person cannot be sufficient. It is a matter of all people together. My dream is to have good leaders tomorrow, because now where my country where it is now, there is hope that this effort, this investment in education will continue to give hope for this future of Rwanda. Thanks.
Turakumwe, we are together. Hello, my name is Quentin, and I'd like to tell you a story about this little girl in Rwanda. I don't know her name, but she is a grade 3 student I met at Kamagarura Primary, an elementary school on top of a mountain in Rubavu district near the border of the Congo. Kamagarura is so remote that you can't find it on a map, and even if you did, it can't be reached because part of the year rain washes out the roads. It turns out that last summer I was in Rwanda traveling with the Wellspring team, and because it was dry season, the Rubavu team hadn't been able to visit Kamagarura for a long time due to the washouts, so they wanted to attempt the mountain trek to find this remote school to visit it. And we made it, and I survived, to find this tranquil little school overlooking a beautiful valley where students would come from all directions, hike up the hill, and attend classes. And when we got there, I remember sitting in a small mud brick classroom with no electricity, dirt floors, thatched roof. It was a similar size to a Canadian classroom, but I counted 90 students. 90 grade 3 students in one room. There were 4 or 5 students crammed into each desk, and maybe one pen and a piece of paper shared among each group. But I have to hand it to the teacher up front, though. That was one of the most lively and engaging math classes I have ever seen. Clearly, she was putting her Wellspring training to good use. The students were well behaved, smiling, dialoguing back and forth with the teacher. I was very impressed. But there was one thing off. I was sitting at the very back of the classroom, almost in the right corner. And right next to me was this girl here. I got the feeling that she chose her seat for a reason. She really seemed disengaged. Her body language showed frustration and embarrassment during the silent exercises. Like she just didn't get it. And she was embarrassed by that. And she seemed to be doing everything she could to avoid the eyes of the teacher as she scanned the room. And I thought, if you think about it, where would you sit if you felt you didn't belong in a group, in a class? This girl was physically in the classroom, but you could tell her heart was far from the hope that a quality education brings and that better life that comes with it. This was really hard for me to watch. It reminded me a lot of my own story, which I'll get to in a bit. But as I saw the enthusiasm fade and her participation shut down, I felt like I need to do something. Now, I don't speak Kinyarwandan, but this is grade 3 math, so I'm almost qualified, and I began counting on my fingers, just helping her check some very basic addition. And each time the sum worked, I saw her eyes open a little wider and a little wider. And soon her face is lighting up, and I see her beautiful smile for the first time. She got it. Today, in math class, she was part of the group, and she belonged. It was a beautiful thing to see. When the teacher asked for volunteers, her hand was the first to go up with gusto. And I could tell in that moment the teacher smiled this big, broad smile that this was a welcome surprise for her. And so she welcomed her up, and this little girl marched up to the front, to the blackboard, completed the example correctly. And there was this special moment because everyone gave this huge ovation, by far the biggest of the day. And you could tell that something special happened in that moment for that girl and in her heart. Because when she came back to our desk, she had this huge smile on her face, and I don't think she stopped smiling all day. As I was flying home from Africa a couple of weeks later, I couldn't stop thinking about this story. It was like this tiny seed was planted in my mind, and it just kept growing these questions like, what if this spark of confidence was applied to her other studies, history, English? What if she now embraced her education instead of hiding from it? What if this just little small touch changed the course of this girl's life? And really, it reminded me of a key moment in my education, in my life, that really changed my future course. I was in grade 3, the same age as this girl here. And it was a difficult time for me. There was a lot of messy family stuff happening in the background, and I was really struggling in school. For some reason, I don't remember why, I had the gumption to apply for the school play, and I was shocked to get a role. And I don't know if you can see this, but here's me, grade 3, 1988, as Michael Banks in our school play, Mary Poppins. I don't remember much about the performance at the end of the year, but I do remember, in particular, I had to spend a lot of time with our drama teacher one-on-one. And in particular, I remember one practice as clear it was yesterday. I was the last to leave, and my teacher kept me behind. And she stopped me, and she looked me in the eyes, and she said, "You're doing an excellent job, Quentin. Do you know that you're a very smart boy?" And of course, I was dumbfounded, and I said something dumb like, "No, I didn't." And I don't know. It's not important. The point is that from that point on, I began to believe that, hey, maybe I am smart. Maybe I am worthwhile. And you know what? Maybe I do belong. I drew strength from these words, and it sounds cliche, but it really changed the course of my life. It was a very small moment in time that created this domino effect of gradually larger affirmation and belief. I am deeply grateful for this thoughtful teacher and the better life that education gave me. And I can't help but wonder, could this be the same for this little girl here? And many others like her, honestly. To go one step further, I wonder, maybe this is happening for other lost students in other Rwandan classrooms as well. I wonder if teachers are embracing Wellspring's training on empowerment, inclusion, and servant leadership, if these teachers are leading the search for that 1 or 2 students in their classroom falling between the cracks and bringing them back to the fold. I think I know the answer, and I bet you do too. And here it is. Wellspring-trained teachers and districts are proven effective at reducing dropout, promoting inclusion, and improving learning outcomes. The issue is, and here's the big issue for us, how many schools and classrooms can Wellspring invest in? And this is truly the bottleneck. And I'd like to come back to this later. But right now, I'd like to tell you one more story that I feel best captures this heart. It's an ancient and well-loved parable about a shepherd and his sheep. And it's found in the book of Luke. It says, "Suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after that lost sheep until he finds it? Then he calls his friends and his neighbors together and says, 'Rejoice with me. I found my lost sheep.'" The story goes on to say that there is more celebration for that one found sheep than the remaining 99. And it's not saying that the one found is worth more than the other 99, but it's making the point that each sheep, each person, is precious in God's eyes and has unmatched value. It is absolutely worthwhile for us to go to extreme lengths, to remote villages on top of mountains to find them. It is a good investment of our time, of our resources here in the West to pursue the justice, dignity, and worth of all God's children, including those a world away in Rwanda. The more I thought about this idea of finding the one lost sheep, the more I realized that God had worked through education. An amazing teacher, loving human connection, that God had worked through those to find me, a hurting, marginalized young boy, and put him on a new path towards hope and flourishing. And I am so grateful. I truly am. And it's really why I'm passionate about Wellspring today. And this really lays the ground for what I would like to challenge you with today. I'd like to invite you to join with me to find that one child. Does Wellspring impact 200,000 students in almost 500 communities? Yes, absolutely. Has Wellspring trained 3,300 teachers in 134 school communities? Yes. I mean, wow, these are huge numbers and amazing accomplishments, and we can't forget that. But tonight, I'd like to bring our focus back on one student. How can you make a lifelong impact on one child? You and I both know that in every classroom, in Rwanda, in Canada, around the world, there is at least one who is distant, hurting, and feeling alone. They're often stuck, and they need someone to go out, to find them, and to bring them home. And the more I reflected on this last week, the more it really moved me. And I felt I needed to take action. So here's what I did. I went to the Wellspring Foundation website, and in the top right, there's a Give Now button with an option for school partner. I filled out the form, and I committed to giving a monthly gift of $55. That level of support is what Wellspring calls a school partner. As a school partner, my support covers the cost of Wellspring's work in one classroom. So why respond in this way specifically? Because I know for a fact that Wellspring training brings quality education into a Rwandan classroom. I've been there and I've seen it. But what's the significance of one classroom? Because in my heart, I'm thinking about her. I know that for this girl and many others like her, sitting in the back right corner of the classroom, avoiding the eyes of the teacher, they need that shepherd to seek and find them. When you partner with Wellspring, you are equipping local Rwandans to bring this hope to each other, one classroom and one child at a time. As Andy shared yesterday, we are in this together, Turakumwe, and at this critical time in history for Rwanda, for the West and the world, when there's so much messaging about keeping distance from one another, when there's so much fear of the other, an instinct to clench tightly and protect what I have, I'm asking you to do something courageous. I'm asking you to think about your own child in Rwanda that you would like to see impacted for a lifetime. If you're a person of faith, I'm asking you to be known by your love, to model the heart of the Father whose desire it is to seek and save the lost. This little girl represents that heart for me, and I hope that you will open your heart to her too. Will you join me? Together, let's find that one. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.
Wow, Quentin, thank you for bringing that message for us. Thank you for drilling that down to that one child and that impact. It's so great. Quentin mentioned you can go to the website, wellspring.ngo/give. Top right-hand corner, you would hit the button there and you are able to make a donation there. So you can continue to give. We haven't hit our target yet, but I'm going to get an update. I'm going to bring Barb back on, and she has another update for us. So, hey, Barb, I have you up on the screen now. Let me unmute you. There we go. How are things going?
Well, it never ceases to amaze me how we have so many generous donors and that believe in Wellspring's cause and just have big hearts and are compassionate towards the people of Rwanda. And it just makes my heart so glad. And I do have an update.
Okay.
We currently are sitting at $225,966.
So just about $226,000.
Yes.
Wow.
So our goal is $250,000. So my challenge is, who in our listening audience is going to help fill the gap of $24,034?
Wow.
And it seems like a large amount, but when you think it's been 4 days and we're almost at the $226,000, it can be done, whether it be little or big, whatever God feels or God puts on your heart to give. Please support the children of Rwanda. We also have, as a reminder, every donation that comes in, each donor will be put into a draw for a $100 Indigo gift card and a wonderful package of Rwandan coffee.
That's right.
So we have that available till midnight tonight.
Okay.
So we will keep track of that. And thank you so much to all of our generous donors and all of you that have been online watching.
Wow. Okay. So we have until midnight for donations to come in. There's still a chance to get into that draw. And we're just under $25,000 to go. Well, 24 and a bit, right? So
that's right.
That's great. Now we're going totally off script now, and we managed to call in. I'm going to call in some of our teammates. So you guys can give if you want to try help us, close that gap to get to $250,000. It's wellspring.ngo/give. I'm reminding you of that because I'm going to take that off the scroll for now, and I'll bring it back up later. But we just thought it would be fun for everyone that is available at the moment to say thank you for just everyone that's joined the Stay Home Gala and just what an incredible 4 days it has been. So I'm going to start adding some of our North American team who are around to join this call with us, Barb, just to say thank you. So I'm going to slowly start bringing people in. I think I have Louise Loughton joining me as well. She's going to get her video started, and I'll pop her up on the screen as well to say thank you. It's just been amazing. So there she is. There's 3 of us up on the screen. I am going to remove myself and start bringing in the rest of our teammates. So yeah, give her, guys. I mean, it's just, I'm absolutely blown away by the interaction that we've had all week, by the giving that we've had all week, by hearing the partner stories, the updates from our Rwandan team. It has just been amazing. So I'm gonna turn it over to you guys and just gosh, go ahead.
Well, I think it's you and me, Barb, on the screen right now.
I think so.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Well, I just want to thank our friends so much, those that we've been on the phone with, those that have chatted with us, that have texted and sent messages of support. And we're just so thankful as an organization for the way that people come alongside in relationship to partner with us and with our staff and to really invest. And so it's really a joy just to serve you as our partners and to serve our team. So big thank you to those that have given and those that are going to give to help us push this vision right over the edge, way past 250. Let's go for that before midnight tonight.
That is awesome. So I've got Shauna up on the screen. So it's Barb, Louise, and Shauna. I just want to mention Ernest. Ernest is watching from Rwanda. He's just said, thank you so much for your support.
Oh!
Wow. I'm extremely happy for this love towards the Rwandan children. So that's from Ernest.
Yay.
Barb, did you want to say a thank you, Barb?
Sure. I'll say another thank you because I'm just blown away. As Jason, as you mentioned, I've been with the organization from the beginning, and it's just amazing when you're going, Lord, we're trying. How are you going to make this work? And then all of a sudden, there's provision. And once again, here we're a little confused because we can't do a gala in the Western Bayshore, so we swing onto this online Stay Home Gala, and wow,
It's from our
overwhelmed with
the
generosity of each of these individuals. So thank you.
That is awesome. So Barb, thank you so much. Thank you for the financial updates. I am going to say bye for now to Barb and Louise as well. I'll get rid of you guys as well. So thank you so much. Shauna, you're there. I am going to add Louise Riley. I muted you, but I'm going to add you to the screen now. Andy Harrington as well. I'm going to add you to the screen as well. So 1, 2, 3, Shauna, Louise, Andy. Give her, Shauna.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks everyone so much for joining, for watching, for giving, for our team, for working, put together, and Jason, to you for, emceeing and doing all the tech for this week. It's been awesome and a ton of work, but we're just so grateful for everyone who's come behind this to make it happen and everyone who supported along the way to get us to where we're at. So hopefully we can hit that 250 mark by the end of the day. That'd be amazing.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Great. Thanks, Shauna. I'll say bye to you. And I think I've got Kelly waiting on the call as well. See you, Shauna. Louise Riley.
Hello. Hi. I'm so glad for this opportunity. In spite of the fact that many of us had to get dressed for this moment that was unscripted. Jason, thanks.
Yeah, I got Kelly up with you guys as well. So Louise, Andy, and Kelly are up there right now. Yeah.
That's awesome. I just wanted to say thank you so much as well. Just add my thanks to everyone else's, to the people who have followed along with us this week at various times. I know some people have checked in and caught up in the evenings, as well as joining us in the mornings, and we're so grateful for that. And of course, a huge thanks to everyone who's given this week. It's enormous. I also just want to say thank you. I know that some of our Rwandan team are watching right now and have been tracking along through the week. And I just want to say this has all been about honouring you and the incredible work that you do, and all about honouring and serving the people in Rwanda that we're privileged to work with. So I just want to say thank you to you, our team in Rwanda, and we love you.
Thanks, Louise. I'll say bye to you. We got Andy next. And Andy's next.
Well, I got to say,
Sarah's on the screen as well.
It's been amazing just working. Sure, it's been incredible just working with this team over the last month in order to make this work. And I have been deeply, deeply honored just to be, I've kind of been working with the Rwandan team as well. So I've been deeply honored just to be getting the messages and say, hey, Andy, we're planning this, we're planning that. It's been an insane experience. And I feel we've all been locked up in our houses for a very long time. But I just want to bring it back, if I may, to this one picture. Are you up on the screen now? I think, Jason, you might want to mute yourself. We can just hear you chatting there.
So I'm muted, actually.
You know, it never ceases to amaze how.
Okay, somebody else wants to be muted. Anyway, I'll just carry on. So I just want to bring it back to this lady here who is in a village in Rwanda. It's taken by my good friend Charlotte Browning, and she's just welcoming us to that village. And that's what you've all done this week. You've welcomed us to go back into the villages of Rwanda, the communities of Rwanda, and to be part of this lady's life and those she represents. So I just want to say thank you, and I want to do a huge thank you to this team and to our donors as well. But I know you donors understand and partners. I just need to say thank you to these faces, to all of our friends in Rwanda. You have no idea how much this has cost them and how much energy, emails at 3 a.m. and everything. They've done an incredible job. And I believe we'll hit that 250,000, but I'll be honest with you, my private target was 175,000. So I just think it's been incredible. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would love to walk up and get up now and walk away with a skirt on like John Krasinski, but I didn't have time to get dressed on that.
Thank you so much, Andy. I am going to let you go, and I'm bringing Sharon onto the call. So Kelly.
Thank you so much. I'm blown away. I'm always blown away by the people who partner around Wellspring. You guys have so much passion, and none of this happens without you guys. So some of our hearts, you're why this work is happening, and you're the reason that so many kids in Rwanda are getting good quality education and will have such brighter futures. So thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, thank you so much, Kelly, as well, for all your work. And yeah, just great. So I'll say bye. And there's Sarah, and I've got Sharon, and Emily's going to hop on the screen as well. So there's 3 lovely ladies there.
Thank you, everyone.
I don't know what I can say that everyone else hasn't already said, but just thank you so much. It is such a privilege to be able to come alongside you as together, Turukumwe. We stand by the kids and families of Rwanda. And I just think back to that moment I talked about this morning of Rochelle standing in that teaching training, saying that to the teachers, you are here because of the generosity of people around the world. And that's you. So thank you for joining us at the Stay Home Gala. Thank you for joining us throughout Wellspring's life and into the future. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sarah, and thank you for everything you've done as well. You guys, everybody, it's Turukumwe. We are together. We've done a whole bunch of work together. It's been so great. So I'm going to say bye, Sarah. Thank you again so much. Sharon, you are next. And Quentin, you're up on the screen now as well. So Sharon, Emily, and Quentin, but we'll let Sharon go.
Again, we just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for taking the time. I know there's so much activity that you could be doing at home, but we really thank you for taking the time to watch what we put together with the help of our team in Rwanda. And we just so appreciate you. And you are making a difference, no matter how big or small. We value each of you. Just like Quentin said, it's all about one, and it's about one in Rwanda and our ones here that come together. So we thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Sharon, too. Yeah, it's so great to have you on screen and up saying thank you. And yeah, I just loved your segment with Linda. So great. So I'll say bye. Thank you, Sharon, for all of that. Emily, you are up.
It has been such a delight, such a pleasure to
worked to put this together. It is such an honor to be working for this team and with this team. It's so beautiful to be reminded exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it. There have been so many incredible pieces of this week that we hope just gave you a deeper glimpse, a better understanding of the mission and the vision in the heart of Wellspring, because it really is impacting and transforming lives and communities across Rwanda. So thank you so much for choosing to come together with us this week. It has been such a pleasure to put this on, and we're so thankful for you watching and donating. We love you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Emily. Emily, you have done an amazing job with social media of keeping all of those touch points, sharing those pieces, those films. It's just been amazing. So thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, we'll talk soon. Quentin, what a great message. I'm passing it on to you now.
Vision. And once again, we're a little
muted
because we
Sorry,
can't
I'm gonna mute. There we go. You are good. Yeah, you're on.
I would like to specifically thank all of our partners around Canada, North America, and the world. You know who you are because I have been emailing and calling you a lot in the past couple of weeks. And I just want to thank you for really having the shepherd's heart during this time. Thank you for being willing to reach out, to go out, and as I shared, to 99 and go and find that one. For having the courage to partner with us when there's so much fear and uncertainty. I know for many of us, it's challenging in these times. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, sincerely. I appreciate you, and we as a team appreciate you, and our team in Rwanda are so grateful for you. So God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Quentin. Yeah, thanks so much. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Well, there we are. That is the end of our Stay Home Gala. Oh, I think I've got Christy. So hang on. Let me see if I can get Christy on here because it would be great to hear from her as well. See if I can add her to that call. And we'll see if she comes up. So just update, we're at $226,516. So a little bit more has come in, I believe, right? And you can continue to donate up until midnight. I'm reaching out to Christy. Hopefully we'll get her up here to say a thank you. Oh, sounds like she's here. There we go. Christy, I'm going to bring you onto the screen. And you and I are up, Christy. You are on screen. So to give you a chance to say thank you, I just thought it'd be great. It'd be great to hear from you.
I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, Jason. Can you clarify a little bit more? I haven't been on screen.
Oh, you haven't been on screen at all. Well, you know what happened? I really impromptu got a hold of the staff and I said, hey, if you guys want to say thank you to our partners, to anyone watching, that you got a chance to say thanks. And I think your video is freezing a little bit there, Christy, but you got a great smile on your face.
Are we on? Am I good?
You are on, yeah, and you're good.
Awesome. Well, yeah, of course, I'd love to thank our partners. So grateful for their support and their involvement. And most of all, I just want to thank our Rwandan team in Rwanda, just doing all the hard work and making it happen. And just so thankful to be a part of it. And it's just an honor to be a part of Wellspring, and that we get to invite others to journey with us. And so I can think of so many names and faces right now, and I wish I could, thank them all personally and individually, but that would take a long time. So just thank you all. You know who you are.
That's right. That's a great way to put it, Christy, for sure. We start rambling off names. There's so many people involved. And so, Christy, I don't know if you heard the total. We're up to $226,516. So
wow, that's awesome.
So people are just blown away by that, right? So great. So thank you, Christy, for joining us. So good that you could hop on. And I just want to express the same thanks to our partners as well. It's just amazing. So I'll say bye, and I'm going to wrap up this Stay Home Gala. Oh, it has been a wonderful, wonderful week. I want to thank everyone who has taken the time to join us at different parts for this Stay Home Gala over the past 4 days, to listen to the live streams, to interact with us on social media, to reach out with encouragement and prayers for our team, for us, to the partners who've shared those partner moments with us, their passion for the quality education through those video clips. It has just been amazing. It really has been just amazing. So from the bottom of our hearts, as you've already heard from our team, we just want to thank you to everyone that's given as we've hit that total. And I think I'll get an update soon again, because donations continue to roll in, and it's just so great. So thank you for investing in the future of the thousands of children in Rwanda that we are working with in Rubavu district, in Gasabo, and hopefully branching out into other countries nearby as well, as Andy shared in our Vision 2024. So we hope that everything that we've shared with you during this Stay Home Gala has inspired you and has helped you to grasp what a huge difference your partnership is making. Today, more and more children in Rwanda are receiving an incredible education and have hope for their futures and the future of their country. Thank you so, so much. So we hope that you and those you love remain safe and healthy during this time, and that you will know God's peace and strength in the days ahead. Turikumwe, we are together.